Hi all, welcome back to my 52 week challenge where I am doing 52 projects in 52 weeks. This is project number 2. It's a little bit more practical. I am going to make some more masks. Mask mandates have come back in. So over here I've got my fabric. I find that using fat quarters is probably the easiest way for me to do it. I usually can get 2 or 3 masks out of each one, depending on how you cut it out. So here I've got my pattern, scissors and pins, some fusible interfacing to go inside them to create 3 layers, and my elastic. I've ironed the fabric and then folded in half. This way I am cutting both the left and right hand side of the mask out at the same time. Okay, so here's just a little view of how I've pinned 3 on a fat quarter. For those who don't know, that's basically a 50 centimetre square. You get fat quarters and fat flats here in Australia. They vary by a couple of centimetres each way. Okay, so as you guys know, we are a bit tea crazy in this house and we always make a pot while we're doing projects. So today we are having this beautiful one called Arabian Night from a place called Tamarind Tea. They're in the Gold Coast. There's a place there called Tamarind Mountain. Thankfully, we don't have to go that far to get it. They also stock this tea up in Montville, not even a half-hour drive up the hill from us. We've had a couple of the teas from these guys, and they're so good. So I've got 2 of my shapes cut out from my pattern out of the fabric, and then I've cut out 1 of them out of my interfacing and then cut that in half, because how I like to do it, just to give it that 3rd layer and to give it a bit more shape, is, let's see if I can puzzle this in, is I iron that onto that side and that onto that side. And that way I've got stiffening on one side of the fabric, helps keep the shape, as well as give you that 3rd layer. So then the next step is to sew the 2 layers together but along this edge. So I've got that one here already to show you. So after that I have then gone and top stitched this seam here. We are actually top stitching down the center of our mask. So we've got the needle on point 2 and then got our seam right in the center, and then we're just going along nice and slowly with all our seams to one side as well on the underneath. You can see there the top stitching. Next step is to fold it in half this way, and then I've done a seam allowance along the top. Then I have clipped the corners a little bit with it, just so that it's a bit more smoother when I turn it in the right way. So once you've turned your mask in the right way and ironed it, you then at this point have the option to top stitch. On this finished mask you can see that there's some top stitching along both edges. It does give a more finished look, but it is completely optional. I've got these 2 inside out so that you can see how I finished off the mask and added the elastic. As you can see here, I have created a wee pocket for the elastic and threaded it through, then tied a knot at the end of it. I found this better than sewing the elastic into the side seam, as when I sewed the elastic into the side seam, it came out after a few washes. And then last, once I've got the elastics at the length that feel nice and comfortable for me, I have actually just pulled the knots back into the little pockets so that they don't actually annoy me at all. These are our masks all ready to go. From each fabric I believe we made 2 or 3. And over the last couple of days it was a total of 16 or 17 masks. But that is project 2 of 52 all done.